Hey everyone, it's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You, and I am very happy that you are here tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. If this is your first time on a Crazy for You podcast, I hope that you enjoy it. If you do, I hope that you subscribe. Just click the little button that says subscribe. And if this particular episode of the podcast is useful to you, please give it a thumbs up. That does help me a lot. Trying to get, I just got over 1,000 viewers or subscribers. So I'm super happy about that. So thank you so much if you are a subscriber. Let's see who we've got in here. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Valerie, always a pleasure. Hey, Polly. Got Sandy and Ellen Orr here. And earlier we had someone we had Judy from Cheshire, England. So yay. Oh, so nice to have all you here. I had a comment from one of my subscribers that said they wanted me to say what I was wearing when I had a podcast. So I'll share with you that this is Contentment by Kim Hargreaves. It is from Kim Hargreaves' book Drift, and it is knit in Rowan cotton wool, which is a beautiful chainette construction blend of cotton and wool, and it is absolutely lovely. It's soft like a dream, and it's very nice to knit with. But it's a funnel neck. What do you call this? Raglan construction. Very little shaping. It's just but I love it. It took me forever to knit, but it was really fun, and I really do like it. Like I said, I should have had it finished a long time ago, but whatever. It takes me forever. So let's see. Oh, hi, Shirley. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you found my site too. So please subscribe. Like I said, love to have you. Hey, Eveline. Yes. All right. Hey, Terry. Good. Okay. So tonight we are talking about Magnolia Bloom. And for those of you who are new to Crazy for You or the channel or don't get the newsletter, I kind of fell in love with Magnolia a few months back. I don't even remember how I stumbled on it, but I saw it, and it's like that guy that you never thought you would go out with, but the next thing you know, you're married to him. It's just not anything that I would have said, oh yeah, this is exactly what I want. I'm not a top-down girl. I'm not an in the round girl. I'm not really a chunky sweater girl, but oh, I love this sweater so much. It's so pretty. And I can't wait to wear it. I can't wait to knit it, and I can't wait to wear it. And so we're doing a knit along with it. And I put together some beautiful colors of a lovely heavy worsted weight yarn we have, and a silk mohair lace weight, and the colors just sort of really went together so nicely. So super happy about that. But what I wanted to talk about tonight kind of is going sort of through the pattern. One of the things that I am passionate about is making sure that your sweater fits you. And a lot of that is kind of about choosing the right size to knit. So, you hear if your sweater doesn't fit, it's because, your gauge is wrong or whatever, but it's mostly because you've picked the wrong size. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to chat a little bit about the two options for the knit along and talk about, ease, which is choosing the right size so that it's the right size for your body. So, okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. La. Okie dokie. Yes. Okay. Awesome. So this is Magnolia Bloom. I know you guys probably already have seen it. If you're watching it, it's because you probably are interested in it. So tell me just tell me in the comments if you love this sweater, if you are here tonight because you want to hear more about this sweater. So I'm interested in how many of you absolutely love it. So tell me. Hi, Jal. It's nice to see you. Okay. So it's by Danish woman Camilla Vad. I hope that's how you say it. She's an incredibly talented designer, just beautiful, beautiful things. This just happens to be one of the many beautiful things that she has done. And I think it just sort of caught fire. So anyway, this is it. All right. So what is it about Magnolia? Let's just talk about the pattern generally. It is top down. It is in the round. It's what you call a yoke construction. So it's worked all the way in the round through where you just separate for the armhole. It has a turned collar. So if you look at this close up, it doesn't have a bound off edge here. And I love that. I love that so much. I think it's just so clean and attractive. That's folded in and worked. So you do your cast on and then you work down and then you join the cast on to where you are. So it turns it in. A lot of you have done this with me in the membership site for either hems or collars or whatever. Chunky gauge, so 12 stitches over 4 inches. I'm going to get that on a US size 11, which makes me feel so happy. I'm thinking, I'm going to get this done in 2 weeks. That's my plan. I figure if I can knit 2 hours a day, I can get this done in 2 weeks. And I'll tell you later how I came up with that number. So it is a charted. This lace section here is charted. It has nups or bobbles, or they're not true bobbles. They're really more nups. Nups is I want to say Danish. It's probably not Danish, maybe Estonian word for bloom, for bud. So they do. When you look at them close up, they look like little tiny buds. And I think they are so pretty. The original pattern is worked with 4 strands of yarn, which is a lot. So 2 strands of a fingering weight and 2 strands of a lace weight mohair. So that's a lot. Our version is worked with 2 strands of yarn, a heavy worsted, as I said, plus a strand of kid silk haze, which gives it just a really, really pretty, soft, kind of a halo. It's not fuzzy or anything. It's just a halo. It has pretty inclusive sizing. So the smallest size has a finished bust measurement of 36 inches, and the largest size has a bust measurement of 56 inches. So our designer, Camilla Vad, recommends 4 to 6 inches of positive ease. So let's talk about what that means exactly. And I am going to show Polly's comment here. I love the look, but fear I would be way too hot wearing it. Maybe, if you do run hot, it might not be the sweater for you, sweetie. I don't know. I run cold, so I'm wearing a long sleeve sweater all year round. But everybody's different. So question, is the Magnolia tunic allowed in the knit-along? Yeah, sure. Knit whatever you like. This is just going to be about, working together and supporting this beautiful designer and getting everybody to make a beautiful sweater that they love. Okay, so what do we got next? Okay, so sample projects, how much ease, right? As I said, the designer suggests doing 4 to 6 inches of ease. And let's see what that looks like. I pulled some beautiful patterns from Ravelry. I hope this is okay. And I hope the people who knit them don't mind being featured. But I picked them because I think they're gorgeous. So this is one. And I've linked the name of the the Ravelry name of the person who did it in here. So if you want to go and look at that, you can see. So I think this one is really, really pretty. And you can see she has quite a bit of ease here. It hangs very loosely around her. And I think it looks just lovely. Why is that not showing up? My goodness, hang on a second here. This should be showing up. Why is that not showing up? I may have to show this way. Oh, it's going to make me a little crazy, but let me try that again. Weird. Okay. Well, make this maybe a little bit bigger. Okay, so can you see? I guess you can still see that. Hang on a second. Let me share my screen differently. I'll just share that window. See if that works. Is that better? Not really. Okay, well, we're just going to have to go with this because this is how it is. My presentation is not working, and I don't know why. But anyway, here's another one. This is the same one, actually. This is the gal, a close-up of her with that large amount of ease. Again, you can see how attractive that is on her. Here's another one. You can see that she has quite a bit of ease here. And I think that looks really good as well. Let me try to present this, see if this will work. Okay, well, that's good. Okay, so we're back on track. See, you can tell how much ease this is. Ease being how much larger than your body is the sweater. So clearly this is a very tiny person, and she's made a large enough size that she has quite a bit of extra fabric around her on this. Here's another example. This one is maybe a little less, but you can see that it doesn't stretch across her bust in any way. It just hangs loose all the way around front and back, which is very pretty. Isn't that color lovely? It's not a color I can wear, but I think it's just beautiful. Jenna was hanging out on Facebook waiting. Yeah, I'll tell you, I didn't get my Facebook hacked for nothing. So, okay. So anyway, here's another one where another couple where you have quite a bit of positive ease. Very pretty. Couple more examples. Don't they just look beautiful on every single person? I just think they're lovely. Now here's an example of one. Is this the one that let me get out of here. Yep, I had two pictures of this here. I'm not sure why it's not fitting, but it's not. Anyway, so this one has a little bit of negative ease. What she said that she had done is she started with the larger size, and then when she got finished with the lace section, she went to the smaller size. So she did fewer increases, and it made it a little smaller around the waist. So not much negative ease at the top, but less ease in the body, which I think is also very pretty. Yeah, so very nice look. And her collar stands out a little bit more, which I think is really pretty. Okay, now here we get into where we have some of the negative ease. And by negative ease, what I mean is that the garment is slightly smaller than the wearer's body. So you can see that this sweater stretches just the tiniest bit over the wearer's bust line. Okay, so it's a completely different look. I think it's beautiful. You know, how do you like it? Let's look at a few more examples. Here's another one. And she so graciously gave us a picture from the side. And you can see, again, that it stretches over her bust line and then comes down straight afterward. This is a hugely beneficial approach if you are a busty gal. It's often a struggle for gals with a generous bosom to wear things that don't make them look larger than they are, but they shy away from negative ease because they don't want it to look too tight or feel whatever the word is, okay, you know, inappropriate or whatever. But I think that these look absolutely lovely with the negative ease. Here are a couple more examples of more negative ease. I think this gal has a generous bosom and the sweater looks fantastic on her. She has very little ease, even in the midsection and around the hip. And I think she looks beautiful. Same with this gal. Lovely, lovely look on her, stretching a little over the bust line and then coming in at the waist is very, very flattering. Okay, and this one is really cute because this is cropped. Don't you love this? Jenna, I thought about you when I saw this. I thought, wouldn't that be cute? Cropped. You could do it with quite a bit of ease and then crop it, or you could do it with a little negative ease and crop it, depending on how you are feeling. But isn't she cute? Doesn't that look just great? Tell me in the comments if you like the cropped. So Ellen likes it with a negative ease. Yep, it's definitely a look. Meredith, yep, Meredith, I'm thinking about you with this. I like the negative ease. May change my mind on doing cardigan versus pullover. Yeah, I mean, this is why I show these. This is why I think it's so amazing that these beautiful knitters have shared their projects with us on Ravelry. I love that. I love that so much. And I think it's so helpful to be able to see the garment on all of these different bodies and these different shapes. So, I mean, we did this garment that I'm wearing tonight. We had it in the shop. We had this size small in the shop, and all the different knitters tried it on. Women who wear lots of different sizes all tried it on and had different amounts of ease. So I think that's just huge. It's really important. I'm big on ease. Okay. Okay. What else we got? All right, so here's the other version that I had sent out in the survey. Which do you like? Which do you prefer? And this one is different. This is called Magnolia Chunky. And as you can see, it's the same gauge. The difference is that rather than having the motif at the top around the yoke, you have it at the bottom. It is still a yoke sweater. You can see the increases here. The construction of this sweater is still a yoke sweater. It's just that the motif has been shifted from around the shoulders and the yoke to the hem. Okay? Tell me if you like this one. So I wanted to share with you some pictures of, I wonder if this is one that had two pictures. No. Okay. So, some of the let me go back a minute. This sweater has a lot of ease. And I think for a lot of my knitters, Monica in particular mentioned how much she liked this shape and how much ease there was and how sort of slouchy it looked at the cuff and the hem. But when you look at some of the patterns that some of the projects that other knitters have done, it doesn't look quite so slouchy. And I think that's tied to the amount of ease that the knitter is putting in their sweater. So this is one where the cuff does look as slouchy as it does in that other picture. And you can see that she's wearing it with a lot of ease. There you are, Monica. You are the one I'm talking about. I'm glad you're here tonight. Okay, so this is one where she has kept that full amount of ease in the body and in the cuff. Same. She has done a certain amount of ease in the body and she's kept the cuff, a little slouchy. You can see that she has a little less ease in the body here and a resultant less ease in the arm. Okay. So it's definitely tied. She's done hers a little longer too, which I think is cute. Here's another. This is worn with 13 inches of positive ease. And she has used a finer yarn combination to give it. So you see it's a lot more drapey, right? I think this is very, very pretty too. If you like that sort of slouchy look, this might be kind of the way to go for you. This is knit by, I don't know if any of you know Tanis Fiber Arts, but she's a famous designer and she does hand-dyed yarn, lovely person. This is worn, she said, with 2.5 inches of positive ease at the bust. I don't know if she has done something else to maybe increase at the cuff, you know, in the arm. You can see some increases like right here, but I don't know if that's just part of the yoke construction. But you see what I mean? So lots of that puff cuff bell sleeve kind of thing going on here. I think that's a stunning example of this particular design. Here's another. She's got a lot of ease there in the cuff, and that's really pretty. Yeah, you like? I like. Okay. Now here's an example of the Magnolia Chunky worn with very little to negative ease. So with this one, you can see that she's done quite a bit of negative ease, and she's used that motif, which is going to pull in just a bit to accent her waist, which I think is really pretty. Here's another example where the negative ease at the bust, it stretches over a bust line. Very pretty. Nice example. Again, same thing. Negative ease at the bust and a little less ease in the cuff, just because I think of the size of the sleeve. The truth is that if you want a really puffy cuff, I think you can make the sleeve larger, follow the directions or increase to the size that you would have if you were making a larger size. And then it just comes in at the cuff. What happens with this sleeve on both of them is that you're working down and you're not doing any decreases until you get to the cuff. And then you're just sort of tucking it all in and forming that puff, which is something that you can do with both of them if you want. So for this design, I wanted to just hang on. Where am I? Here we are. Okay, so that's something that now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I wanted to share with you, is that there is a lot of flexibility in this since we are working from the top down. And if you want that exaggerated bell sleeve and you want it to be a little more closely fitting, you can do a larger sleeve. The pattern doesn't call for any decreasing. A standard sweater is going to have decreases from the bicep to the wrist, but this one doesn't. It just is a straight down, and then when you go to make the cuff, it all comes in together with decreases right there. So you do have that puff. I know a lot of the people who have knit this sweater have incorporated decreases so that they don't have a puff cuff, because that's not for everybody, right? But there's so much flexibility. You could, like I said, you could make the sleeve of a larger size. So I just decided I think that's cool. All right, so back to what we were doing. All right. Okay, so skills you should have for this. This is not a beginning knitting sweater. You should be very comfortable with knit, purl, cast on, ribbing, working in the round, binding off, and reading a basic knitting pattern. So if you've never knit a sweater, this is probably not the one you want to start with. But I do think, given that we have this knit along, if you are comfortable with these things and you are an adventurous and confident knitter, then you will learn some important skills. You will learn how to read a chart. You will learn how to do German short rows. You will learn how to work lace. And let me just say that working lace at this gauge is a much happier experience than working lace on lace weight yarn, okay? Lace weight yarn presents its own its own challenges, even if you're working stockinette. So if you are interested in working lace or learning lace, this is not a bad place to learn it. You will learn how to do a turned hem if you don't already know that, and you will learn how to work nups. In fact, you will probably learn several ways how to work nups, because we are going to talk about them. There are lots and lots of ways to do it. Okay, so reading a chart. This is this is not the whole chart. This is like a teeny section of the chart. It's important to remember when you're looking at a chart that charts don't tell you what to do. They don't tell you whether to knit or whether to purl. They tell you what fabric to make. So typically with a chart, when you have a blank square like that, it means stockinette. If you have a dot in the square, it means reverse stockinette. Okay, does that make sense? We will go over that a lot more. But you want to read your charts, start at the bottom. You want to read from right to left on the knit side or the right side, and from left to right on the purl side, if you're working flat. If you're working in the round, which we will be for this, you always will be working from right to left, right to left, right to left. And that's another nice thing about this is that if you are doing lace, lace in the round can be a lot easier than lace worked flat. And another little tip I'll give you is just to put a strip of highlighter tape above the row that you are working on. Okay, swatching for this. This is my little swatch, and I will share with you what I have done. Nice and bulky. So this is a bulky weight or a bulky gauge. How about that? It's 12 stitches over 4 inches. I personally am going to need a size 11 for that. You're going to have to swatch and see what size needle you will need to get that gauge. You'll want to cast on loosely. And I like to have a little bit of a garter stitch, 2 stitches of garter stitch on either side, just to help the piece lie flat. You'll want to work at least 4 inches. So let me just hold this up for you. Hold mine up. Okay, so here is my swatch. I started here, obviously, at my cast on, and I have 12 stitches. It's a small swatch. Normally I recommend a much larger swatch, but this is a small swatch. It's 12 stitches in the center, and I have 4 stitches on either side. And I found that I was just about 12 stitches to 4 inches if I just eased it out the tiniest bit. And I know that when I block this, it will ease out the tiniest bit. And then you want to swatch your lace pattern. Let me share this with you here. So swatch your lace pattern. I did not swatch this in the round. My knits and purls are pretty standard, whether I'm, they're pretty much the same gauge. So I don't have any rowing out here. Sorry. If you look at the back of your fabric and you can see horizontal lines, you know that your purl stitch is probably looser than your knit stitch, in which case you'll want to swatch this in the round, okay, to make sure that it doesn't end up too tight. But we can talk about that. So what yarn is being used for this? I have Juniper Moon Santa Cruz and a strand of Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and I absolutely love it. I think it is beautiful, and the colors just go so well together. So that's what's being used. Okay. Hi, Krista. Nice to see you. So Ellen asked what yarn was being used. And I put that on the website. I have it kitted up for all the sizes. And I think we have 15 or 16 different colorways, and they're all beautiful. So I love it. I see this kind of as a spring sweater. For me in the springtime, I'm so done with winter. I'm so done with my winter clothes. I'm so done with my fall color clothes, but it's still really cold. So I like to have pale colored clothes or bright springtimey colored things that are nice and warm. And I find that I can really sort of style them into spring by wearing them with white jeans and like a little white tee underneath. So this is what works for me. So anyway, you will want to swatch in pattern, okay? I think that's so important when you are working a chart or you're working any kind of stitch pattern that is new to you. I have 2 repeats of the pattern going on here. And when you swatch in pattern, you do a couple things. One, you familiarize yourself with the stitch pattern, you get muscle memory going on. You might think that your hands are not remembering, but actually they really do start to kind of learn that. And you get an understanding of what's going on with the chart. And if you make a mistake, it's so much easier to take out your mistake over 2 pattern repeats than it is over the entire circumference of your entire sweater. So I definitely recommend that you swatch a couple repeats in pattern just to kind of get used to it and, see what you think. It also is nice because if you get into it and you're like, I hate these baubles or these nups. I hate the way they look. I don't want to do them that way, or I don't like working them this way. Better to know that ahead of time in your swatch. So, and I think you'll get a sense of how nice it feels, and you can wash it. And, I'm a big fan of swatching, so I'm preaching to the choir, right? So does anybody have any questions about it? Happy to answer your questions. I have a sign up on one of my websites that I will post in the comments to this later on, where you can sign up to be part of the Knitalong. I have in the description for this video, there's a link where you can look at the colors. You can buy the kit. Go ahead and buy the pattern directly from Camilla Vod on her Ravelry site. It's not a pattern that I can sell to you through the shop. So you'll want to go ahead and buy that, read through the pattern. But first decide which style you want to make, and tell me in the comments, are you going to make the traditional Magnolia Bloom, or you get with the yoke, with the motif at the yoke, or are you going to make the one with the motif at the bottom? So I'm interested to hear. In the survey, I will tell you that we had about 60-40 in favor of the Magnolia Bloom with the motif at the top. So super fun. I'm excited. This Knitalong is going to start May 1st, which is a Sunday. And I'm hoping to be done in 3 weeks or less. That is my goal. What I did is I calculated the number of yards that were in the size that I was going to make. And I know from last Christmas's calculation how long it takes me to knit a yard of yarn. It takes me 2 minutes to knit 1 yard of yarn in stockinette. So, and that's at a worsted weight. And so it's a little less if I'm on a big needle, but a little more if I have a complicated pattern. So I'm figuring that I can finish this in about 15 hours. So if I give myself an hour a day over the next 2 weeks, I can finish this in 2 weeks. And if you are motivated and dedicated and have that kind of time to give to this pattern, you can too. So who's in? I'm excited. Let me know if you are interested, and if you want to be included in the Knitalong. Post a comment on this video. Not here, but later. Go in to make a comment on the video so that I can send you the link to sign up for it. So, all right, let's see. What if we want to make the short sleeve version? Yeah, absolutely. You can make the short sleeve version. You wouldn't need as much yarn. Yeah, you probably wouldn't, of course. It's smaller, shorter sleeves. You wouldn't need as much yarn. So if you need to customize your kit, Ellen, give me a call and we can hook you up, all right? Monica, I know you're in. You got your yarn last night, didn't you, girlfriend? Yay! So Ellen Orr is motif at the bottom. Meredith is motif at the top. Okay, awesome. All right, well, I'm doing motif at the top. I'm doing this beautiful color called Not a Cloud in the Sky, because I know you won't believe this, but I actually have enough pink sweaters for now. Enough pink sweaters for now. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I'm excited about the Knitalong, and I'm excited to see you there. All right. Until then, keep knitting and create something beautiful. Good night.